more on this, whether it's Biden or Harris or Netanyahu. Let's bring Jason Palmer into the conversation. You might remember Jason as the businessman who challenged Biden in the Democratic primary. So welcome back to the show. We're talking about it anyway. Can we start on the war and the timing of all of this? Netanyahu coming to town, Biden getting out, address to the nation, Harris kind of not going to be at that speech. How big of an issue is this war now that we've seen a change at the top of the Democratic ticket? What would you say?
I think the war is still a big issue. There are a lot of voters up in Michigan, especially, that care a lot about this. In fact, there are voters all across the country. When I was campaigning, 6% of the voters in New Hampshire that voted in that primary voted for ceasefire. So this is something that's still a very live issue. And, Kamala is going to have to come out and speak publicly about it again. In the past, she has made it clear that she believes there needs to be more humanitarian efforts for the Gazans, for the Palestinians. And I do think we'll see a slight change in policy from her in the campaign trail.
Protesters on Capitol Hill, that's what disrupted our guests last hour. I said that a few times while we had them on a Zoom call instead of being in Cannon, because they're there ahead of Netanyahu. Now, on our tablet in front of me, I want to take a look at the VP contenders, Jason, for Kamala Harris that are out there, and talk a little bit about two in particular. I'm going to talk more later in the hour about Mark Kelly from Arizona. A lot of buzz today, prediction markets and elsewhere about Kelly. But with you, let's talk about Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania. We have, since we're talking about the war, jotted down some comments from all of these folks on the war. Shapiro in the New York Times, May 11th, I'm pro-Israel. I'm pro the idea of a Jewish homeland, a Jewish state. I'll certainly do everything in my power to ensure that Israel's strong and it's fortified, will exist for generations. There's other comments up on the screen. Roy Cooper, Mark Kelly. We never want to see innocent women, children, and people getting killed. That's happened at a pretty high rate here. We don't see some changes. I think it's appropriate to put conditions on some of this aid. That's a little bit of a different take. So what about the VP candidate? Shapiro also is Jewish himself, and how much the war influences Harris's pick?
I think the war will only be a small part of how she picks her vice presidential candidate. I think it's very important that she look at Pennsylvania and Michigan as two battleground states where she could get helped. And that's why Josh Shapiro is one of my top two picks. Gretchen Whitmer would be the other. But also, her husband is Jewish as well and has spoke out on anti-Semitism at great length, actually. So I do think that Vice President Harris will be more focused on humanitarian aid, which needs to be focused on more, quite honestly. But she still will believe in a two-state solution. It is just a fact of timing that she's not able to meet with Netanyahu. This particular visit that she's doing has been on the books for a month.
Yeah, that's what the Congresswoman was telling us. It's in Indianapolis. So again, for whatever the case may be, the effect of that is she won't be in that shot on television as the president of the Senate right behind Netanyahu, and her meeting will be in private. I'm sure we'll get a photo op. Well, we probably will from that meeting. Now, what about the actual pick, though, of VP? We focus on it a lot in every candidacy, but this is one that's rushed. We only have a little over 100 days. How much does it matter in this case? Does it matter more than it ordinarily might, do you think?
I do think it's going to matter a lot because J.D. Vance, who President Trump picked, or ex-President Trump picked, he is an interesting and compelling figure himself. He's from Ohio. He, grew up in West Virginia. He speaks to people in the Midwest in a way that I do think it's going to be very important for Kamala to look to pick a Midwesterner herself.
Let me give you one more thing here. Again, on the tablet, guys, the polling, okay? We don't have a lot of data yet. This only happened. This just came out, though, right as we were coming on the air this afternoon from Reuters. 2-point lead head-to-head for Harris, which is within the margin. But when I switch it to three-way and put Bobby Kennedy in there, it's a 4-point lead, a little bit outside the margin. Again, what we've talked about in our data is that for a Democrat to win, you got to be up at least 3 nationally. That's sort of how the math seems to work because the way the Electoral College is set up. So in that second poll, she was up 4. The larger point, I think, is that there's a bump here. Whether it's lasting or not, I don't know. But there's energy on the Democratic side, and there was not last week. There was the opposite of energy. Can it sustain itself?
It definitely can sustain itself. I even did see just recently that a staffer who works on the Biden campaign, texted a friend who then put it on Twitter that it was like a funeral last week working on the Biden campaign. And this week, it's like being at a wedding with an open bar. And I really do feel like seeing So many delegates, so many Democratic leaders coming out. We're all behind Kamala at this point. And then we're going to roll into the convention. And there's always a couple percentage points bump from the convention.
Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.